last night and ahead to what could be the end in the West tonight. But now to the NFL, and after winning the Super Bowl, Tom Brady has very much kept himself in the spotlight. Last week, his episode of HBO's The Shop aired, and in addition to that talk we had about that team that snubbed him in free agency that he's still upset about, he also said this about how he handles press conferences. He said, quote, "What I say versus what I think are two totally different things. I would say 90% of what I say is probably not what I'm thinking, which is challenging. I usually say the opposite. If they've got a bleep corner, I'll be like, that guy's unbelievable. I don't even know how to complete balls over there. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm going at that guy all day because I don't want to give them anything." It's a fascinating insight into the mind of the greatest quarterback of all time. And let's get some insight into these guys' minds. We got Jeff Darlington, we got Rob Ninkovich. And Nico, will start with you. When he said, he sort of looked over at that corner and seemed to have a little something to say. How did you take that? Did you take that personally?
Well, I'm taking it personally from you. Why are you asking me? Are you trying to imply that I'm a bleep corner? Like, I don't think that Tom Brady saw me that way. I hope not. And if he did, I would appreciate if he continues to lie about it in public. Thank you very much.
Okay, fair enough. So I did not mean to demean your outstanding talent. I just meant it's a corner. You're a corner. There you go. But Nico, let me come to you. You're his longtime teammate. So what did you think of this? Is he basically saying that was the Patriot way and this is the real me?
Listen, don't we all do this, though? You don't like somebody, they come up to you, and you just play nice, say, hey, how are you? I forgot your name, but you don't say that. You try and act it out. You fake it out. Then the second they walk away, you're like, geez, I hate that guy. I don't even know his name. Don't we all do that? Now, come on, let's just be honest. We do that. But honestly, at the end of the day, doesn't every NFL player do that? They over-compliment, and then they overexpose them. Most quarterbacks are going to say, you know, this guy's a really good corner. This guy's a really good yada, 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 yada. But in the back of their head, they're like, I'm going to eat this guy up. Guess what? I'm going to beat him all day. So I think that's just the way it goes. And the Patriots tend to compliment a lot, yes.
Yeah, all right. So maybe what you're saying is that life is the Patriot way on some level. Jeff Darlington, you've covered Tom for so long and as closely as pretty much anybody. Are you surprised that he's kind of letting the guard down to this degree now?
No, not necessarily, because Tampa Tom is different than New England Tom. And that is partly due to the culture of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but it's also where Tom is at in both his life and his career. And I shouldn't just say it's not New England Tom, because the final years with the Patriots, he was also becoming much more engaged in social media, doing all these types of things. So this is still, though, a human who is so strategic about everything that he does, to the point where he used to walk into press conferences and take a deep breath beforehand, try to get himself into a Zen state before getting behind that podium. It's also someone who didn't talk all that often for a long time. Stacey James, the longtime PR guy in New England, if you asked to talk to Tom, generally the response you would get is, Tom has chosen to do what he does best. He'll pass. That's Tom Brady, the guy who didn't talk. Now all of a sudden, we got a new guy in town, and I got to be honest, I love it.
I mean, I think everyone does. So, Neek, let's play our favorite game. Let's psychoanalyze someone from afar that we don't really know that well. Do you think that what we're seeing here is a guy who's finally away from New England and Bill Belichick and can kind of say what he wants? Is he at the end of his career and thus is running out of, cares to give? What do you think we're seeing here?
Well, Dr. Greenberg, I think that it is not that he is kind of a new Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady's always been calculated, and I think this is part of his calculations for the next part of his career. Like, it's not a surprise. It wasn't like a trick question that they snuck up on him. It wasn't a hard-hitting interview. It was a recorded segment on a show with a bunch of other athletes. Tom Brady is positioning himself as TB12 Tom, as an influencer with a powerful wife after he's done playing, if he's ever done playing. So I think this is all part of Tom Brady making sure that he is in the news and we start to get to know who he really is so he can continue to be raking in the money and getting the wins even after he's done throwing touchdowns.
Very smart.
All right, that makes sense. But Nick, let me give you the final word as his longtime teammate and one who played there in New England. All kidding aside, like if he does that interview while he's still playing for New England, is Belichick mad?
Depends on if we won a Super Bowl or not, because I think that when you win the Super Bowl that offseason, you have a little bit more leeway in the things that you're able to do, a la Julian Edelman jumping on the late night shows. I mean, I just think that's what happens when you win the Super Bowl. I think if you lose, then it's like, all right, let's stop this, whatever. Let's just get back to, I think Tampa is a great place for Tom right now in his 40s. He's loving the sunshine, the weather. Maybe it's getting too, the warm weather is in his brain right now. Now he's just free to do whatever he wants.
What a delightful flex that is. It depends on if it was one of the years that we won the Super Bowl or not.
Like
all right, guys, sit tight.
Say.
We got a lot more to get to here, but did you see the way the golf ended yesterday? It went on, and it was Good morning. It is time to get up with Milwaukee's best. Mr. Middleton shoots down Hotlanta. Are the Bucks on the brink of an NBA title? Then Tampa Tom talks, and it's terrific. Finally tells you what he really thinks, and it's everything you hoped it would be and more. Don't miss it. It's on the way. Plus, which young quarterback is the next NFL breakout superstar? Could it this be this one? Ready to rise. We've got answers to those and other questions as we get up with you starting right now on a Monday. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Greeny with you this week on ESPN2, and we've got lots of football news to get into today. We have plenty of the right people to get into it with. Jeff Darlington is here. Dominique is here. And from the Beast's Castle this morning, Rob Ninkovich is at Disney World. We'll get to them and a whole lot more. But we begin with the game of the night. In Hotlanta, Game 3, Bucks-Hawks tied at 1, and it's Trae Young trying to make the best use of home court advantage and under 6 to go in the first, and he was feeling it. Hawks already up a dozen, and then it's Young. Oh, you can't give him that much time to shoot because not only will he knock it down, but he'll hit you with the shimmy. 8 minutes to go in the second now. Bucks are down by 7. Gallinari, no. Going the other way. Giannis, Euro step, and he throws it down. Bucks down by 5. Just over 3 to play in the half. The Hawks lead is 4. How about that for range? Trae Young knocking it down. Tied at 56, headed to the half. Just over 3 to play now in the third. Milwaukee is down by 5, but here comes Giannis, and what are we doing? All right, we're covered. We're behind the back. We're all alone, so we'll knock down the 3. He was 1 of 2 from 3. Bucks down by 2. Under a minute to play in the third. This is the moment that could change everything. Watch the foot of Trae Young as he steps on the foot of the official, Sean Wright. Twists the ankle. Clearly not comfortable and not the same thereafter. He'd go to the locker room. He would come back. But he said he didn't have that burst, and it made an obvious difference. So the Hawks are down 1, 6 minutes to play. Young, he can still do that. Young had 35. Hawks take the lead by a deuce. Next Milwaukee possession. The fourth quarter belonged to Chris Middleton. Inside, outside, didn't matter. Knocking it down. Ties it at 98. Next possession. Middleton from 3. Chris Middleton outscored Atlanta by himself in the fourth quarter. 20 points in the fourth. 38 for the game. Final minute, looking for the dagger. Middleton. Yes, Milwaukee with the win it needs. The steal back home court advantage. 113-102 the final. They take a 2-1 series lead. Chris, what a night.
I think once I realized I hit 2 in a row, just told myself to keep trying to find a shot to get up, knowing that I was going to have a good chance of getting in. That's how I was thinking at that time.
It's hurting. It's frustrating. Came back in, it was just kind of sore, and I made me mad. I couldn't really go as fast as I wanted to, and then when I did, it hurt. So got to get treatment, and hopefully it feels better for next game.
Well, to that point, when he comes back in the game, there's 8:44 on the clock, and the Hawks had a 5-point lead, but he was clearly hurt, and Chris Middleton was just getting started. The Bucks outscored the Hawks 25-9 to end the game from that moment forward, hitting 10 of their 12 shots. And again, so much of that was about Chris Middleton, and that is where the conversation begins today. Seth Greenberg, my Uncle Seth, no relation, and PJ Carlissimo gets up early with us here today. And PJ, our buddy Big Perk, he tweeted again, Chris Middleton is Batman and Giannis is Robin. And as we look at this Milwaukee Bucks team, certainly last night in the fourth quarter, that was the case. What was the difference last night?
Chris Middleton was the difference, Greeny. You talked about it wasn't just the dagger. He just simply took the game over, and he did most of his damage in the fourth quarter. Yeah, he had big numbers, but 20 in the fourth quarter, and the way he shot the ball. They're down 7. Everybody kind of forgot this. The game gets away a little bit, but he shot the 3 very well. He was 4 for 6 from downtown in the fourth quarter alone. This is great passing. Connaughton drives man down. If Mark Jackson was here, he'd say man down. They move it. Connaughton to Tucker to guess who? He's on fire. Let's get him the ball. He'll get us home. And he was Batman. There's no question about that. If you're from Boston or L.A., you may have seen this in an earlier light. How about the run and hook shot? Chris Middleton finishes it right there. 3 was the closest they got right there the rest of the way. He's been very, very good in the playoffs, but he's getting better the deeper it goes. What he did against Brooklyn and what he's doing now and what he hopefully is going to do for Pop this summer in Tokyo.
Yeah, but between now and then, he's got 6 more games he would like to win and bring an NBA championship with him to Japan. Seth, how about it? How about Middleton, and how about the performance of Giannis?
Giannis was terrific. You know, Giannis took that 3. He made 1. He missed 1. But you almost have to give him that opportunity to shoot it because he does everything else. He rebounds the ball. He defends. He never takes a play off, and he attacks. But